was sending data to YouTube, so I don't think it's gone live up on YouTube.
And when you say data, do you mean as in the cool or RLG brand?
There we go. No, we're on. No, I don't mean that. I mean data.
He means the cyborg from Star Trek.
Thanks, we got Taylor here on Facebook.
Everyone's here. You're playing some of the classic Price Park.
I'm playing some Price Park. Yeah, I'm playing some Price Park.
Have you ever considered playing Artie Ziff's new track?
I did. I was playing Artie Ziff. I think on my stream.
Track in it.
But I'm rather quiet, am I? My apologies. I'll just bring my mic a little closer. That'll probably bump up. Oh, you know what that probably is.
What is it probably, Mark?
Nothing you need to worry about, buddy.
Do you want me to fill while you work out that tech stuff? Hi, everybody.
I believe I've done it.
Well, I was going to say
I'll turn
hello.
the music down. Sure.
Hello, everybody.
Down a little bit.
It's me, Zach. I'm here with Mark
is this
and
better?
Broden. Mark's sorting out some tech things, turning the music down.
They'll sing the music. Yeah, there we go. Are these levels a bit better, people? Let us know if these levels are a bit better. There we go. Yeah, we've got people saying amazing in terms of the levels. Sorry, I didn't get a chance to test the levels earlier. Sometimes it just takes a little time to test the levels. You guys know about levels.
Zach, are you referring to me and Broden or the audience?
Yeah, no, I'm referring to Zach and Broden. You guys are levelers.
Well, yes. One of my favorite things to do in a live show is to do this, is to be in a scene and then be like that.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, because we love when our mics aren't loud enough, and the music is too loud, or the music's not loud enough, and so we look angrily towards the text and go like this.
Mark, I'm going to just say hello to every single person that's watching right now.
Okay, well, good luck, because there is 582 on YouTube and there's 224 on Facebook. And YouTube's just jumped up, let me tell you that much right now.
It did just jump up.
Yeah.
If you are just joining us and you don't know what's going on, follow us on the other platforms, because we fucking
Krusty
told you
Kings.
yesterday.
Hey, Jared Griffin.
But we are doing a live stream. We're going to be watching in about 5 minutes time. We're all going to press play in unison on our Netflix show, and we're going to watch along with you. So if you're just joining us, pull up your Netflix as well. We're not going to be playing the Netflix through the stream, because as anyone who's tried to take a screenshot of Netflix knows, that won't work. It would just be a black. So what you've got to do is you've got to pull up Netflix on another screen, and we're all going to go 3, 2, 1, play. But don't do that now. That was just an example.
Yeah, it's just an example.
And here's another example. Actually, screw that whole thing. We just put up "Stop Being Such a" on TikTok.
On TikTok, I can't wait to see how that goes on TikTok.
It's going really, really well, right?
Oh, is it?
It's really right. But here's the thing. What you can do on TikTok, one of the great things you can do on TikTok is take the audio and replicate it for yourself.
Oh, right.
So at the moment, when you look at the track listing and you go down, it's a bunch of 10-year-olds doing
Saying bad words.
Great.
And they're going.
Yes, it's really good stuff.
So if you're not 10 and you have a TikTok, we would appreciate it greatly if you would just jump on and use that audio, just so we don't feel as guilty about the 10-year-olds using the C word.
That would be great.
But, like, people ask me, hey, don't you have a responsibility to not have kids saying that? Don't you think, And I say, I rate higher for me is this show doing well than the future of the world. Like, I prefer, I don't mind kids being degenerate and awful and being having problems if the show does well.
Yeah.
I just want to say
I agree.
I see everyone in the comments.
Yeah, we see you and we hear you.
King Zaki, of course, from Mark's Very Polite Gamer Twitch stream. I am the king. I am King Zaki, and I appreciate that acknowledgement. It emboldens me. It empowers me. So I love them. All caps, King Zaki's makes me feel good. So thank you so much for that.
Also, I just want to say this for me, who's not the most technical person in the world. Was a bit of a technical fucking nightmare to set up. We're out live on Facebook and YouTube. Was simultaneously casting. So if you want to hit F to pay respects, just for the effort I had to put in the chat, hit that. People ask me what's my favorite type of water. What a funny question. I reckon I'd love to hear Billie Eilish's answer to that personally. I'd love to know. I wonder if anyone's ever asked her that.
What time will we start the performance?
Thank you for hitting F. Thank you for hitting F. Yeah, what time do you guys want to start? Zach, do you want to run down? Do you want to run through sort of what we want people to do here first?
Yeah. So we're probably going to start in a couple of minutes. But if you are, I'm not Prince Zaki, Liam. I'm King Zaki. I'm the king. If you are just tuning in, we're just going to run you through now how we're going to do this. So what this is Watch Along with Auntie Donna. This is a commentary. If you're of a certain age, between the age of maybe 27 and 30 or 40, you might remember DVD commentaries, and they were a fun thing, a big part of our experience growing up. So what this is a DVD commentary, and we'll be doing it live. But what the way this is going to work is, we need you to pull up your Netflix account, open up Netflix, go to Auntie Donna's Big Ol' House of Fun, go to season 1, episode 1, go to episode 1, go to 00.00. So maybe if it starts playing, you go scroll back. And what we're going to do in a couple of minutes is we are going to count down. What number would you like to count down from, Mark or Broden?
1,000.
60,000. 60,000.
60,000, Broden?
I think you should count down from 60,000 numbers.
Okay, Mark, what was your offer? What happened there was Broden said 1,000, I said 60, and then Broden mushed them together to 60,000, which I think is absolutely ridiculous number to count down from.
Ridiculous.
We'll be here all night counting down, Broden.
Ridiculous. It's
absolutely ridiculous.
Trying to be
crown.
It's absolutely ridiculous.
He's doing Philip in seasons 3 and 4.
He just does everything through his teeth. It's absolutely ridiculous.
All right.
The way the astronauts walked on the moon, that was fantastic. I think that's season 3.
Talking like Philip.
Philip. So we're going to be doing that very soon. So once all 1.2 thousand of you have said, yep, episode 1 is loaded up in the comments. Now, just so you know, just because our show, it's a little fast-paced, it's a little wham-bam, we're not going to be engaging with the comments for that 20 minutes, but we will say hello to you again at the end of the commentary. We will check in. So keep commenting, keep chatting, keep saying things, and then we'll check in the middle. We'll watch all of episode 1, check in the middle, and then do exactly the same thing for episode 2. Should I run through it one more time and then we just go into it?
Yeah, sounds good.
Just in case anyone's just joining us. Oh no, what have I done? I've ruined.
Of course, the music that we have playing in the background is Price Park, which is done by the incredible Tom Armstrong, who has done all the music for our series and all the Auntie Donna music or ever in the world. So, a little bit of Price Park for you.
A little bit of Price Park. Broden, did you have anything to say before we launch into this?
I'm Prince Philip.
Should we do the entire thing as Prince Philip? No,
we should just commentate. See, I didn't love season 4.
I haven't finished it yet. I loved episode 3 or 2. I can't remember which one. The one in Balmoral. but I think there's a couple of funky episodes in the middle. I was like nearly going to declare the whole season a triumph off that episode, and then it's like, let's just wait and see. And I agree, there's a couple of wonky eps.
Jack, it was me. I grew up in Werribee. Sorry. All right.
All right.
Okay,
Shall we do this?
Shall we do this?
All right, so Mark's going to line this up. All right, so if you were just joining us, I'm going to run through it one more time, and then I'm going to go, then we're going to go straight into it.
Mm-hmm.
I'm thinking like a 6. In honor of your 60,000, Broden, I'm going to count down from 6.
I like that. That's good.
It's a little bit better.
That's quicker.
It's a little bit quicker. All right, so here it goes. Hello. We're Auntie Donna. We're going to be doing a commentary of episode 1 of Auntie Donna's Big Ol' House of Fun on Netflix. If you are joining us right now, what we need you to do is go to your Netflix account, pull up Auntie Donna's Big Ol' House of Fun. If you search for Auntie Donna, that will be enough. Once you've searched for Auntie Donna's Big Ol' House of Fun, I want you to go to episode 1. I want you to scroll, rewind or pull all the way back to 1 because we know you've already watched it. Tee-hee-hee. Get it to 00.00. Once you have done that, we need you to sit on that because we are going to count down from 6 on go. So it'll be 1, go. Not on 1, on go.
On go.
On go, you press play.
We should have organised for there to be a time code on the screen or something.
There is.
What?
There is.
Oh my God.
There is. So you can see the Netflix bar at the bottom. You'll be able to see.
Here it is.
Oh, there it is.
It's there. It's
I thought you were pointing to your dick, Broden. I thought you were like, this is my Netflix bar.
Oh, the bar.
Yeah, the bar.
But here's my fucking bar, and I am pointing at the bar.
If
I
anyone,
got my bar for you right here.
If anyone joins midway through us doing the commentary and they're like, "What's going on?" Can someone just explain to them to like find it on the bar and catch up? Because we're not gonna, we can't. Once we're commentating, we're commentating.
Yeah.
All right. I reckon everyone should be ready. Everyone's probably ready to go.
Uh-huh.
Let's do this. Mark, are you able to press play on our one?
Yep. I can press play.
All right, let's do it on go. I'm going to count down from 6. Here we go. 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, go. Oh,
Ba-bum.
of course, the Netflix logo. We designed that logo.
Dirty Papa did all the art design. They're a guy called Cameron.
Apparently, that we use the same house as Mark Maron in Mark Maron's sitcom Maron.
Yes, we didn't know that, and some people have been tweeting him, and he has been replying saying, "Yeah, I don't know what that's about."
Yeah, he hasn't watched the show, has no interest in it.
Do you reckon Mark Maron is mad at us?
Yes, yes, I think so. There's a couple little changes from the live version in the film version. For Everything's a Drum, but the Willy joke's still in there, and the cum joke. Remember how much the Netflix execs laughed at cum jokes in the read-through?
They just thought they were the funniest thing.
They really did. That's when I knew I felt I was at home.
We're getting a lot of love. There was the shot of my mother. I actually have a great relationship with my mother. That was Mark's joke, and I had a lot of audience interactions in the live version, so we cut my jokes and then I took Mark's mum joke. But I just want to know, I love my mum. Got a good relationship with my mum. Joe. But my good relationship with my mum is a drum, as per this logic.
All of this was shot on the first day, and I remember.
Yes, it was.
It was a good thing to do on the first day because I remember we got there and we were all very nervous for a first day of shooting, and it was a good way to start. Was just to smash everything.
It was. I remember. Lee Poindexter, our incredible production designer. We came in and the first time we saw the house fully done was on the first day of shooting, and it was so beautifully, everything was in such a great place. It was so beautifully done. And then the first sketch we did was this, this was the highlight of my life, jumping through that wall That was the most fun I've ever had shooting anything.
Lee
ever.
was so mad when you jumped through that wall because that's a real wall. It's a full plasterboard wall with wood and everything. And Lee and Mark was just like, "Can we do another take? Point the camera towards the wall." And I'm like, "He's not going to do it." And he just jumped through that wall.
Legit. Can I just say something about this dishwasher while it's still
yes, please.
Charles still here. We hadn't cast Kristen Schaal. This was just a dishwasher, and we didn't know who was going to play it. We had no plans for who was going to play it. But also, I think it's worth noting that there was little strings and a hole in the wall where the puppeteers behind would sit. And as SFX artists had to go through and remove the strings, which was apparently a fucking nightmare. And the same meant there was a little person sitting behind this, and they had to pull the strings, and they were, SFX'd out.
And working with
they were rotoscoped out.
Recording with Shaw was amazing as well. I really loved getting to work with her. She just came in and was so good and so funny, and we just threw the most ridiculous shit at her, and she really rolled with the punch-ins. So a couple of things. First of all, I love this intro. Do you remember the first time we saw this? When this was like done and rendered and sent through? It was just the most exciting thing. Done by Cam Goff? Cameron
the
Goff?
philosophy. The philosophy for the show is often people describe this as a kids show for adults, right? And so the idea for the opening titles was it's kids, little tiny kids characters, and the music's really fucked and full on, but it's glitching. The idea of it's a kids show but fucked.
Yeah,
what we were kind of
that was
going
always
for.
sort of the pitch for the design.
What were Netflix's notes, or they didn't so much have notes, but they were like make sure it's tight, make sure it's short, but there was also just like a vibe of like make sure it's like really colorful, but also not what we've seen before.
Yeah.
Like, was that kind of the vibe? They were like, we've seen lots of sketch stuff before. Yeah.
I was thinking maybe we could talk about the characters that were cut from this sketch, because I think there was about another. The first one that comes to mind is Man Hiding in a Box. Was a character that got cut.
What else got cut? This fart gag, I think is fine. It's by no means the best idea, but every time we put it on in a room in front of executives or test audiences, they would laugh at that.
They would really like it.
It nearly got cut every time, and then every time it had an audience, it was like,
it's working. It's working. But these sketches are always very difficult to find the right order for the characters, because it is a little bit of a fine art. Getting the rhythms right, making sure there's not too many long jokes, making sure it starts quite normal and then gets ridiculous. The timing and the structure took a very long time for this sketch in particular. This was a lot of back and forthing, and
people will want to know about Randy and how Randy just wanders the earth. He's a bit of a nomad. He literally just floats around, and sometimes he just decides to live in the country for like 6 months, and sometimes he's in America. He'd done an American TV show, and he had a visa, and he just happened to be in town, and we saw that he was doing a show. So I just texted him. I said, "Are you in town, and do you have a visa?" And he said, "Yes and yes." I said, "Can you please come down to the shoot tomorrow and be in the show?" He said, "Yes." And Sam, our head writer, wrote some very quick little gags, just some little ideas. But it was literally, he was just in town, so we put him in. And it's been awesome to see how many people are happy that he's in the show, because he has such a diehard audience online.
It's also great as well because it just like sets the tone for what this world is in terms of puppets and stuff. I also just wanted to say about my judge character, my judge who's done a big bong. I've neither studied law nor do I smoke weed, so I had to tap into my love of chicken nuggets for that character. I do love chicken nuggets. And I remember Broden, he said to me, I was like, my God, I believed that. He looked at me, he goes, I really believed that. I didn't know you were a judge or weed. And I was like, I didn't, but I love chicken nuggets, and I knew that part of him. And I brought that out. I
had someone talk to me today about this sketch, and they were saying that this feels like it was written in 2020 because it feels like it's a comment on what it's like to Zoom call with people all the time, which I thought was very interesting because it was very much not written, just written about having like dial-up internet. Really was what was kind of the impetus for it.
When I saw this, because of COVID, we didn't get to watch this show graded up, which means colored. And when I saw this outside shot, I was really, really happy because I didn't get to see this until it was on TV. Zach, sometimes your hair is very bouncy, and sometimes your hair is like it looks flat. There, were you wearing a wig that day on something?
A wig.
Before?
No, what it was. Fun fact about my hair.
I don't know
as we
about
say,
hair. I haven't had hair since I was 20. So
we get a lot of comments about my hair. So what happened was, when I got my hair cut, I had a lot of flyaways. You can see the flyaways in Morning Brown, because they were left very obvious because of the morning sort of thing. Because that was an issue, my hairdresser said to me, "Don't put your hair up because that's why you're getting flyaways." So I didn't put my hair up between getting my hair cut and the first day of shooting. And then because of that, my hair wasn't as curly or as wavy as it normally is, because I usually wear it up. And then because it wasn't wavy on day one, and it's naturally wavy, because of that, then our hair person had to straighten my hair every single day, every time I got it out of a wig for the entire shoot, and it was quite ludicrous.
Okay, these two old
Incredible.
people.
You asked about why is my hair flat. We'd say straight in the biz.
We're not talking about that.
Aaron Stoney was awesome. He's great. He's from Deadpool. He told us all these inside things about Deadpool. But these two old people, particularly behind Mark, are the two funniest people in the show. Australia.
There's a very Australian reference here. A lot of Australian references in this. This whole bit is a very big Australian, quite a niche Australian reference.
Channel 9 show called the Sunday Footy Show. And there's a handball competition. And at the end of it, they give prizes to the footballer who won.
I'm just going to say, extras in LA are like the funniest people in the entire world. They're the best.
Oh, there's nothing like LA extras. Nothing like LA extras.
Extras our age and under are like just the young actors and they just want to experience a set. Extras of a certain age are just the best people in the entire world. And I recommend hanging out with extras if you ever get a chance.
There's a shot coming up that we fought to have put back in. Like it was a real thing of like, we have to get this shot in. And it's of the extras running away.
Yes.
And I don't know if it's left in, but the lady gives up and stops acting.
Because we got them to run with their arms up. I can't remember who did that.
But we're like, this is a really funny shot. It's so this is all fine.
Yeah, she's she's given up. She's not running, but then she
stops. She starts walking.
This is one of my favorite little runs. This in the when I first saw this come together in the edit room, the end of Wi-Fi into this posters bit and then into Thought Bubble was where I was like, oh, I think we've got something really exciting and different for us. Something that we've never done before. Something that we would hope would work in the writer's room. Weren't sure if it would, but then it did. This was the most exciting bit for me where I was like, oh, I think we might have a show here.
This little scene here was the first dialogue I had to do, and we'd had all these discussions before this. This is the first shot of the series.
First shot of the series is this. The first thing we did was rip the posters down, and then we did that dialogue bit, didn't we?
The dialogue came in, and we're like, we'd had all these chats about how we're going to work our ass off. We're going to come in prepared and be ready to go, and all this shit. Yeah. And then we got to that shot, and I didn't know my lines. Yeah. It was the first time I had to speak. I just didn't know my lines. I was like, oh my god. But then luckily, I'd been writing it for fucking 6 months, so I knew it. Alyssa Limperis is fucking incredible.
God, she's so funny. This was so hard to cut because she just had like every take was different and every take was amazing.
And this was a real printing store, and it was shot. This is shot at like 9:00 at night.
Yes, this was very late. This was so we did all the location stuff. Anything outside of the house, we shot in a week, in 5 days. And everything else we shot in about 2.5 weeks. So it was a pretty tight shooting schedule. There were days where we were shooting 10, 15 pages a day.
Which is a lot.
Knows what that means.
I also just want to say another fun fact is I got my hair cut after we did all the photos. So any poster I'm on, any DVD cover, anything I'm on, like any photo I'm in, my hair's about as long as it is now. But then in normal life, it's about normal length.
Homelander.
A little observation for you.
Story here is lots of people said no to coming on the show because
So
they didn't
many
know
people.
who we are, which
So
is fine.
many people.
A lot of people went, no, I don't really know who they are. I'd rather not do it, which is absolutely fine and fair. But so we were like, fuck, how are we going to get people to be in this show? And then Sam, our head writer, had noticed that he was the only one at the time who'd watched The Boys. And he was like, I'm pretty sure the Superman character in The Boys is a Donna fan. I'm pretty sure because he likes Pud. I'm like, oh, okay, well, let's just fucking ask him. And then we DM'd him, and he's like, yeah, please, I'd love to be in the show. And since then, we've all gone off and watched The Boys and realized that we were doing... So when Mark and I are doing this scene, we know he's a great actor, and we know he's awesome, and we know he has, people love him.
Yeah.
But neither of us have watched the program. So we're not... there was no gravitas to the fact that Homelander was grabbing my head like that, and he could have lasered my head off, or the fact that Mark actually kills him. It was just like this lovely New Zealand man.
Yeah, and we finished. Oh, sorry, Preze. I was just going to say we finished shooting, and then we all went and watched The Boys, and then all of us came back and were like, "Oh my god! Oh my god!"
About him being in it was we just assumed it was because he was from New Zealand. Like he must have just had a New Zealand friend that saw us on tour. And then he came and he was like, we're like, how are you a fan? He's like, because Jack Quaid's been a fan for forever. And then we're like, fuck, Jack likes us? And then we're like, let's get Jack in. And now it's our goal to get the entire cast of The Boys into stuff we do.
Yeah, we hope to.
And then eventually everyone from Amazon Prime. We're going to get every Amazon, Marvelous Mrs. Maisel. We're going to get into our next web series. We're going to get
you didn't really kill him.
What's this?
That's a fake needle.
It's a fake needle. And you can see him trying not to laugh here. Homelander tries not to laugh here in the close-up.
He does.
His face is slowly... and the first bin gag.
That's not really him. Gag. That's a dummy.
My favorite thing is I watched this so many times in the edit that I can tell you the exact moment that a leaf falls down through, like a leaf falls from the tree beautifully, because this was in autumn or fall, and I can tell you the exact moment that a leaf falls down next to Zach in left of frame of shot. Ready?
Yeah.
There it is.
You go. There you go. Can I also just say... the second most impressive getting all of my hair under a wig, that sketch. Yeah. That's incredible that all my hair is under that wig. And the only one that's more impressive is South African Sam because he's balding and blonde. And it's like quite intimate. It's quite, well, I see that and my head hurts from the amount of like tight braids and pins.
And if you have a look at the, when, Man Who Shits Himself is done, the credits that come up are the script for this episode, which I thought was a very funny little touch.
Braden, can I ask you a question of wigs? How do they keep the wig on your head?
They just put it on, and they maybe put some double-sided tape on, and that.
I thought, wouldn't they put it? Don't they put a little cap on, and then they hairpin it to the cap?
No.
Oh,
nothing. They just take my bald head and they put the wig on. They put some sticky on there.
That's very exciting.
There's so many pins in my head. Whenever I'm acting with a wig, there's 50 pins and there's at least 5 digging into my skull.
So worth mentioning as well, each member of this group has a different level of a higher opinion or lesser opinion on wig comedy.
Yes.
Zach White likes wigs.
Love a wig.
Broden's
quite a fan of wigs.
Broden's fine with them.
As I've gotten balder, they've become more important to me.
Right. I hate wig comedy. I hate it. I have a real aversion to it.
You've got to admit the wigs on this show, because of LA union laws, there's not a hair and makeup person. There's a dedicated hair person. Mm-hmm. Your hair is quite small. Broden's hair is very small. That all they've got to do is straighten my hair. It's pretty much Zach's full-time hair person. So wigs look. I thought there was some wigs in this show that are pretty great, that aren't like wig comedy.
Yeah, look, like that's true. That's true.
Different hair comedy. You know what I'm saying?
Because it's just us three doing stuff every time. So it's fucking important.
There's something I really want to talk about here in regards to this sketch quite specifically. This was one of the first sketches we got to see cut while we were still shooting. and it came up, and I remember seeing it and loving it. And the person who cut it was not someone we'd ever worked before. Their name was Santiago. I can't remember his surname. Do you remember his surname, Broden? Pardon?
Santiago Pedrosa.
Santiago Pedrosa. Pedrosa.
He'll be watching this, I reckon.
And this is a guy. Well, he looked young. I was like, you're just a kid, but I think he was older than me. But it had a beautiful, youthful face. And he's worked with Absolutely, which is Tim and Eric's company before, and he's cut a bunch of comedy. And when this edit came in, the choices that he made were so funny and so interesting, and not choices that we ever would have made. And a lot of the times, we have to be very mindful. We have to keep reminding ourselves that when his edits came through, to not get in there and change them sometimes too much, because some of the stuff he did weren't choices we would have made, but they were really funny, really interesting choices. And so much of his voice has been left in the show, and I think it's a big credit to him. Part of the success of the show and the brilliance of the edit, of course, also goes to Max, who edited the whole thing with Santiago. But Santiago did the first pass on a lot of things and really opened up a lot of possibilities that I don't think we would have otherwise done without him.
With this sketch in particular, because we did like a playful take at the end where we were really playful, but because we'd done this live, it was a really, really tight sketch. And then we did the playful take, and I remember thinking, we're not going to use any of that.
Sorry, I had to point out.
Oh, yeah. Tom had 2 cameos in this show. One of them got cut, and we slipped in the other one. It's a sneaky little cameo. It's in this sketch. You may have just seen it.
And then Santiago kept a lot of the improv, kept a lot of the improv from that. And made it feel more improv-y and more loose and less tight and rehearsed than it was. And I think that was a really good thing.
Massively.
That sketch up in a really great way.
Yeah. That sketch in particular. The fire's great. We had some great visual effects artists work on this show. Everyone who worked on this show just did such outstanding work. And it's Joe Koski there doing a little sing.
How did Cowdoy get into this episode?
Well, I should say, before we mention, fun fact, Broden actually plays Cowdoy. That's not a separate actor. That's actually Cowdoy. That's Broden under that.
This is based on Haven't You Done Well, Halloween 7, I think. And I just, in Australia, down in fucking Werribee, we just, should I stop this?
I'm just going to say, Broden, before you keep talking, do watch credits.
Do watch credits? I didn't watch credits. It stopped.
Oh, that's okay. We'll just keep talking. But watch those credits if you get the chance, guys. We'll jump to episode 2.
The Cowdoy story is that he was just one dumb little... I don't even remember who said call him Cowdoy, but I just put on some cowboy outfits in Werribee for this Halloween sketch. And he had I'd worn makeup for another character, so he kind of still had makeup on, and it was just an old Woody shirt from fucking, a costume shop and a hat. Yeah. And it resonated with people. It struck a chord with a generation. And but we were really, to bring him back, we were really, really finicky about Emily Ting, our costume designer in America, doing the same thing that Ingrid, our costume designer in Australia, did. So we've made her find the T-shirt, get the hat, get the same jeans, and I went into makeup and I made them put makeup on me and then wipe it off
and remove it.
So exactly the same.
Yeah, because you played for those familiar with the sketch. Broden played Ghoul Jim, or Ghoul Bob, I think he's then revealed to be, right before he played. We all, for some reason, when we shot that Haven't You Done Well Halloween special, we all played a character where we did massive black patches underneath our eyes, but didn't make those the last characters we played. It was in the middle of the shoot, so then we'd have to remove them quickly, and then...
It happens all the time with us. It's in this show all the time.
Yeah. I think I'm just going to start wearing a little bit of black eyeliner as my character for continuity's sake, because so that it's not like this sometimes thing. You know what I'm saying? Because it is exactly, that's so true.
Yeah. Anyway, that's the end of episode 1.
That's the end of episode 1.
Thank you so much for watching.
Which was, it was really, when we were doing episode 1, it was really important for us that we that episode for us is like the benchmark episode in terms of structure. So there's other episodes where we start breaking the form and we start like doing a lot of different things. But with that episode, we were like, as fucked as we are and as fucked as we think this show is, we needed to have a certain sense of something you can set your watch to. And so that's the most normal episode, I would say.
That's also why there's lots of shots of clocks. I'm sorry.
And ravens. If you have a look, there's ravens in every corner of every shot because we're always being watched, was the idea there.
If you are just joining us, we're about to watch episode 2 of Aunty Donna's Big Ol' House of Fun. It's not too late to join this watch along with Aunty Donna party. Mm-hmm. If you are just joining us, what we need you to do is open up the Netflix app on your phone, your tablet, maybe your television. Mm-hmm. We need you to open up Netflix. We need you to go to Aunty Donna's Big Ol' House of Fun. If you search for Aunty Donna, that should get you there. We need you to go to episode 2.
Episode 2.
Scroll to the start, push back to the start, and then we're going to count down from 6, and then we're going to watch the episode together. I'll give you a minute or two to do that. I'll give you a few minutes to do that while we maybe look at some comments and have a little chat.
How did you do the speech bubble? And that was very easy. We just looked up above Zach's head, and then someone did it in sound effects.
Yeah,
but
someone
Mark
else did.
Mark sometimes. It must be this. I have it, and then like he was very like he wrote a brief. It was so detailed. It was like a fucking manifesto what the speech bubble had to look like.
When I write, I write very visually. And I didn't necessarily, I don't think I particularly wrote this gag or came up with this gag, but I think at some point I did a pass on it. And as soon as I did, I just saw in my head to the thickness of the bubble from the side, to the color that it needed to be, to the sort of sheen that it needed to have on it. I was so specific, but we pretended it was there, and then in the same room we set up a green screen and lit it, and Zach did all of his speech bubble stuff in that same room. And then the wizards some wizards in Montreal. I think Netflix SFX did that shot up in Montreal. And they put it all together for us, and they were so open to notes and open to specificity. Thankfully.
We also had a thing about they're like, how much blood? And we went, a lot of blood, lots and lots of blood. And they came back and were like, but don't go crazy with the blood. And then they were like, okay. And then we saw him like, more blood. And then we made them put lots of blood in, and I love the blood so much.
I love the blood
because normally the little pointer, if you're ever making content, the temptation is to do lots and lots of blood. Everyone's first year of making stuff, they do too much blood because they get so excited. So what you learn in comedy is there's degrees of blood. Sometimes a trickle of blood is funnier. So we were kind of like, don't go too crazy with the blood. And this was one circumstance where we were like, nah. More blood.
Turn it up.
Turn up the blood, but turn down the fire. That was our 2 notes. Too much fire in the bin. That's right, everybody. We didn't make our own fire. We paid someone in Montreal to make pretend fire.
That was a visual effects shot. I said SFX before. I meant VFX. The people in Montreal did some VFX for it.
I think when you say SFX, I think you're saying special effects.
Oh, special effects. Yeah, yes, maybe that's why I was confused.
No, but I'm just imagining you're saying special effects.
Yes.
Shall we watch 2?
Let's.
I think we should. Shall I just do? I'll do one more little intro, just in case anyone's joining us, and then we'll go. We'll do the countdown. We'll go straight into it.
I just want to say, people asking about my shirt. It's not Pavarotti. It's Gino Gambino, our beautiful wrestler friend.
My jumper is Chiverches. I don't know Chiverches, but I'm a fan of their music.
A sick crew called Aunty Donna.
Yeah.
Yeah, so, man.
Yeah, get Netflix. Get Netflix lined up. Don't tease me. Don't tease me.
Who's
Don't.
teasing
I've
you?
been on the computer all day setting this up. Don't tease me. I'm tired.
Mike set this up with all his streaming equipment from his side hustle as a cam girl. He's got all.
Zach is just on this thing about how Twitch is just cam girling, but with video games.
Instead of a vibrator up your ass, you're playing in NBA 2K.
If you wanted to jump over to like cam girling, how much would you have to do? It wouldn't be a big thing, would it?
I mean,
It would be like joining Pornhub and making an account.
He'd have to work out how to make the vibrator go off when he gets subs. Like that's I'm sure complicated.
Stuff.
Because
But just,
go, bro.
you could do cam girl, but also have like your cool images and shit coming in and stuff in little like you'd be like your little when you press a button and it goes like this all of a sudden.
Yeah. Well, because I figured out how to multi-stream now, maybe I should just do my Twitch streams to Pornhub as well. Maybe I
was
should
going to say, do you know what would be fucking funny to help promote this show?
All right, sorry, Zachy. Let's do your intro.
Well, I'm sorry. I'm pretty keen on Mark cam girling for Auntie Donna.
and plugging the show. We all go on and just do this, and we go on Pornhub like, hey, watch our show.
I'm thinking less Pornhub, more one of the like fucked Russian ones.
Yeah, okay,
It's
right.
like the really crook Russian, like Eastern European ones. All right. So I will just say, if you are just joining us, oh no, I've done it wrong myself. Hello, everybody, and welcome to Watch Along with Auntie Donna. Today, we're going to be watching episode 2 of Auntie Donna's Big Ol' House of Fun, the treasure episode. Now, the way we're going to do this, because it's very hard to screen capture Netflix, is we're going to get you to go to Netflix, to your own Netflix, go to episode 2. So search for Auntie Donna, find Auntie Donna's Big Ol' House of Fun, go to episode 2, line it up, get it to 00 and then the .000. I'm going to count down from 6. We're all going to press play and then we're going to talk. So let's do this.
Let's do it.
All right.
When I say go, not one.
Mark, we're going to, as soon as this episode starts as well, I reckon we go straight into talking about the day that we shot this.
Okay.
The opening scene. Because
Yes. All right, ready?
6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, go.
Netflix.
Netflix logo, of course, designed by Cam at Dirty Puppet.
No, he didn't design that one.
And now the title.
The incredible
This at a
Sarah
beach.
Burns.
We shot this at a beach in LA on a Saturday morning. We drove like 2 hours to do it. It was done very like lo-fi and very, very quickly. And,
Didn't you just like steal cameras from the Union crew to do this?
No, we didn't steal. It's called stealing a shot.
It's like this was the most. If you've ever seen the film Bowfinger,
Yes, yeah.
it felt like Bowfinger.
This was very just like, and some people just came. A lot of our girlfriends were there because we just went for the day. We were like, well, let's make a day of it. We have to go to the beach.
Just out of shot here, I'm swimming in the ocean. I'm just me by myself swimming in the ocean.
Yeah, Broden went for a swim. We then went to a pier place where I think I paid $24 American for the smallest, worst lobster roll I've ever had in my life.
Yeah, it fucking sucked. Anyway,
I also just want to say what I was doing was I was on vocal rest because we'd just done all the game show scenes and I just decimated my voice. So I was on vocal rest, but my parents were visiting and I only had a few days to see them. So while they were shooting that beach scene, I was trying to communicate with my boomer parents through sign language and texting at a burger place before going to the Chinese theater and watching Jumanji 2. So I had a great day.
so Morning Brown, right? Morning Brown, the sketch. Before we made the show, we had the chance to do a bit of live development. We decided we'd try and develop like 5 or 6 sketches in front of an audience. So and we did a tour around Australia. And we developed this one and the old-timey basketball one in front of an audience in this tour we did. And this one, Sam always came into the office and talked about morning brown. He called coffee morning brown, and we were like, let's make a song about that. And we were improing, and then eventually got to this stupid.
Yeah, well, it was you. This is how I remember it, Broden. We're just going. We're literally just on this loop, and nothing was happening. Where we're just going, morning brown is good, and I like coffee, and morning brown is great. And I think out of boredom and frustration, at one point you just started talking about fucking, and then we're all like, "Oh yeah, I'll fucking," and like the morning brown was forgotten about, and then we went back and went, "Oh, what if we were fucking? What if we were drinking the morning brown so that because we were fucking?"
I should say. I was going to say this before. A lot of people don't realize, but there are allusions to sex and sexual intercourse. There's some subtle. People think this is a song about coffee, but actually there's some subtle references to sex.
It's hard to pick up on.
The first time I impro'd this, it was much, much more offensive.
I love how people
a lot
like
of the writing process was making it for listenability, so people would be okay to hear it.
I love how many people have told. My mum hates this sketch. I think hates the whole series because of this sketch. The amount of people that are like, this sketch is too rude. It's like, if you think this sketch is too rude, I cannot express to you how rude the original version was. The specificity, the detail, an awful, upsetting sketch that maybe 5 years ago we would have just cut, but we were like, there's something here.
The reason we're wearing those pajamas is because I wrote into the script they're wearing the pajamas that Steve McQueen's wearing from the film Bullet.
Which is great.
Yeah, we like to sometimes we put stupid things in the big print or the action of the script.
Don't skip the intro.
And we forget. No, I'd never skip the intro. I love this intro so much. But yeah, I love
you're putting fuck shit in, and then people.
And then you turn up on the day, and someone's like, "Oh, so is this right?" And you're like, "I don't remember writing." So they're like, "Because it says this specifically in the script."
Because I think
Like,
I should say I did a sketch.
Look at my shoes. Look at my shoes. Look at my shoes.
Oh, you're wearing your real shoes. You're wearing your real
They're
shoes.
just my shoes, and I accidentally wore them. And I said, "Everyone, fuck everyone. I'm so sorry. I wore the wrong shoes." And then Max, he's the director, just went, "Fuck it."
I also want to just quickly
don't make that a big thing. If you see this video, don't make a big thing out of that because those are copyrighted shoes and like it might mean Netflix has to pull it and stuff. So just shh.
I also want to just say quickly the origins of that joke was that just happened in Edinburgh one day. Broden started I can't remember exactly what happened, but Broden started reading a thing out or pretending to do a hidden treasure thing. And we're all so tired and so frustrated by Edinburgh. And Zach and I just at the same time thought of the same thing to do and then just went around and started tearing the house up. I was so happy. That joke is like 5 years old and we've never had a place to put it.
It's not exciting. Substantial enough. There's a lot of stuff in here that isn't substantial enough for a 3-minute YouTube video.
Yeah.
So it's good to finally be able to get it into a something, you know?
This is kind of a sequel sketch to a sketch we did in our Glenridge tour on stage, which is about two girls texting, and this was kind of taking that and doing it in another way.
I should also say, here's some of I'm a god now. So Zach's a god now at the end of this episode where I'm blue with... We shot this sketch after it. So if you saw the
that's
episode
the
1 commentary,
yeah,
where we talked about a leftover eyeliner, this is some of the leftover eyeliner. This is a great example of leftover eyeliner in this sketch. I can't express to you how hard it was to wash off that makeup. I've never been like, I love costumes and makeup, and I've never been like, I'm never going to do this again. As trying to wash off the blue makeup in my lunch break before this sketch.
This house is so it's fake, but it looks real.
It really does. Like the lighting is amazing because there were so many crew members. Every day we would come on set, I would meet and see a new crew member. Because there were just so many people just behind the set whose jobs it was to set up the lights. And there'd just be new ones every day. Oh, yeah, go.
Oh, no. We just missed it. It's all good. I just wanted to say the one post-COVID reference in the entire show.
Yes.
Is the now with no contact delivery, because we in the middle of lockdown in a Melbourne studio, because we were going to do this in LA, but we were back in Melbourne, in a Melbourne studio, went and did like social distancing and recorded some VO.
Yeah.
I did Alan. We also just did little bits and pieces. And it was post-COVID, so I slipped in no contact delivery because I find no contact delivery very funny. So that's the one post-COVID reference in this show.
Also, there was a joke just there. When I sat down, when this came out, I hadn't watched it for such a long time. I sat down and watched it all from start to finish. I forgot how lathered with University of Ballarat jokes this show is. Jokes that are so esoteric, jokes that are just so for us and maybe 15 other people. And the first one of those in the series is in this, where it introduces Broden as a sketch comedian, Mark as a sketch comedian, and then Zach as the director of Uni Life.
You know, the funniest layer of that was you two wrote that joke and you put it in during the edit on a day I was away. I forgot that you'd done it. You'd mentioned it to me once. I'd seen it once and I'd forgotten that you'd done it. And because I directed Uni Life as this student show. Had about 10 students from Ballarat and I directed it for 3 years, I think.
Yeah.
And I got so many messages going, haha, great Uni Life reference. And it was in the middle of all the hubbub of the show coming out. So I was just like, thanks so much. And it took me like a week I'm like, what do they think I'm like, where do they think I'm making a Uni Life reference? And then I remembered that.
Yeah.
Okay.
Can we talk about Ed?
Great. Ed's great. Ed's awesome. Most of the extras in this are just real people who
were just at the burger restaurant. Yeah.
Which I think's funny.
It is very funny. Ed pitched the show with us. Ed was in the meetings when we were pitching the shows to networks, and it was the first time we met him was when we were in the foyer going into a network to pitch this show. And he was so nice to us. And we remember going in there and this guy who we all know and is very famous and have all been watching and has been making us laugh for years, was talking about how we were like the next Monty Python and how much he loved our stuff. And it was so surreal. That was so surreal. And then they have the show come up and then to actually be able to shoot like a fairly like intimate scene. And we wrote this gag when we were in LA, didn't we? And then we had to pitch it to him directly.
Yeah, because I remember it was you said we should think his name is Egg. And then I think I was like, no, we should think his name is Ed.
And he thinks
his name is Egg. And we lost our minds. We're like, this is the funniest thing we've ever done. He's like, but he's not going to go for
They're
it.
all just that's a real man. That's a real man there.
Yeah.
That's not an
And I
actor.
think it was like, I know, bro, you don't love like celebrity cameo gags, which I think I tend to agree with. But it was like the idea of a man's name is Egg Helms was so funny. It cut through that like kind of unwritten rule of not doing celebrity cameos as celebrities.
Yeah.
It's like we're gonna go to post season 10 Simpsons for one thing because Egg Helms is so funny.
So the South African Sams.
Yes.
They're from our podcast. They're two characters. They're based on a person that we know. One day, we were actually in Los Angeles, I think, for shows.
Loosely based on a person that we know.
Just a person we know. That's all I'm saying. And we were in like a 50-minute drive from one side of Los Angeles to the other. This is years and years and years ago, and we just started reminiscing about a time where we know this person from. And this poor Uber driver sat there as Zach and I just did impersonations of this person.
For an hour. I think it was a long
for an hour.
as
well.
well.
And just at the end of it, we got out of the car and she just looked at us and she went, very funny. And then but then the first time we recorded the Sams, we were doing podcasts. We were in Calgary in Canada. And we had to record podcasts. We're like, well, let's just do those characters. And they literally, I don't want to get too up and far at my own ass, but they are two characters that literally have their own energy, like they have their own core. They're not like Zach and I trying to think of a funny thing to say. They literally just go, and when you start doing the accent, they just go. And
it's so true. It's like those people talk about it. I don't have it much with characters. I have maybe a couple of characters that are that, but these guys I can't take responsibility for anything they say. I 100% agree with you on that, bro. It's like
They just go. And all I remember about this day is this was like the second or last day. Those shoes I'm wearing are the most fucking painful fucking things that I've ever worn, and I was so mad. I was like in so much pain, and also, it was just a weird day. Also, do you remember halfway through shooting this, it was like Ed just came in, and we hadn't seen Ed in like a week.
Yeah,
He's
he
like,
was saying goodbye.
Merry
It was like,
Christmas. I'm going home. I'll see you later. I went, what the fuck? Anyway.
I'll tell you my two favorite things in the show or in the sketch for me personally. My favorite performance I've ever done in my entire career is what did those two spinning about?
oh yeah, it's so funny. That's so funny.
I love that cut.
This
but my
is
absolute favorite thing in this entire. This is my favorite wig I have ever.
It looks
worn.
amazing.
It is mind blowing. I remember Becca, our hair person, was going to put that on Broden. It makes more sense because I have so much hair. I've got a big forehead, but I've got so much hair. And the line where she put the blonde is right where my black hair is to create that to give him the same forehead as me. And it is just mind blowing that she made it work. I love that wig so much.
We didn't really fly here. This was all done.
No, and there was so much that was cut. The first edit for that sketch came in at about 7.5 minutes, and like Max was like, "It's 7.5 minutes long," and he's like, "I don't know what to cut." And we watched it, and fuck, I just laughed so fucking much the first time I saw that first cut of that sketch. I love that, and that is the first time we've ever taken podcast characters and put them into a different medium. And I think it went really. We did so very successfully. So there may be more to come. Is all I'll say. I hope so. Anyway.
This also, the touche is based on a friend of mine from when I was about 20 that used to say touche so much. It was like a favorite word, and I'm so glad I got to let that out. That guttural scream is real.
Now, this is really interesting. This is an old sketch. A lot of people know this sketch. It's the live version's been up on our YouTube for a long time. And we'd thought about shooting it and trying to shoot it in this way for a long time, but never really had the technical capability or the time, or were really able to put it together. And when this came up, we're like, okay, so let's try and do the definitive version of Alan. And we were kind of unsure of how we were going to do certain bits. So there was a day, and this wasn't the only sketch we were unsure. Texting was another one, and the home run one was another one. But we had a weekend while we were writing where we went into where Broden and Sam and Max and Tom were living in LA. And we just shot a bunch of sketches and tested how they would work on film to see if we could actually put them in the show.
We should put them up on the Auntie Donna Club at some point.
I really think we should. Yeah.
They let me keep the mug on the table, which is cool.
Oh, that's great.
Oh, very nice.
They would have had to, I'm sure.
Yeah, they would have made that. I think. No word from Alan about this sketch, which is interesting.
No, Alan's very quiet.
Very quiet about it. Says a lot.
We had someone go like, "Oh yes, I see what you're saying about Alan there." Like, we wrote this sketch 6 years ago. It's just about Alan giving away free shit. It's a sketch about how Alan gives away free shit.
Little shout out to my brother Scott Bonanno, who helped us out with these little Alan graphics here and did Broden's face up as a little emote, which I think came out
little
really
shout
well.
out as well to Broden. A lot of people don't realize this, but Broden's actually playing Alan in this scene.
which is crazy.
Really shot all of this because I've done this 400 times or more. We shot this in like fucking half an hour. Like side of this, we just shot we did 4 setups with 2 cameras at one time, and I just rammed through it. And I remember I think it's the shot we used of the 3 Toyota Corollas. I think I almost fainted because I was just
I remember that. I also had done myself a mischief with my voice in the "You Hate Me, I Hate Me." We filmed that on the same day, and I really fucked my voice on "You Hate Me, I Hate Me." So my voice was not up to scratch at all for this sketch. So I was offside. So
you're literally a meter to the right of this.
I'm sitting on a chair. So imagine this, while Broden's doing his performance, there's a man on a chair with his script sitting a meter away from him going, "Oh my God, "Oh my god, it's a brand new Toyota Corolla."
Yes.
And then I went into the recording studio where I did the aforementioned reference to No Contact Delivery.
Yeah.
And I was like, this is, I think, the last time I'm ever going to perform Ellen. So we got it. We did a couple of takes to get it. And then I just said to the man recording the audio, I'm like, I'm just going, make sure it's the last thing. And I just completely just did it.
Yeah.
I just was like, I'm going to make this the last time. See you later, sketch.
Unless people want to
Destroy
see it
my
on
voice.
tour, because if they want to see it, woo!
You're going to see this version. Oh my God, Ellen. I'm flying through the sky.
These interjections are really important. All these little interjections. Max and I sitting in the editing suite for like a day. The interjections were really, really important, and we were like, should the sleeping be the third one? But then there was a bit where Mark went and did some maracas, and we're like, well, that can be the funny ending of it. I was like, the interjections are really important, and they were kind of an afterthought, but they're really important.
Yeah, it was like, this is what I loved about working with Netflix, was like, we were very nervous about, will people sit in one thing for this long? Like, we wanted to shoot at Broden as many different angles as possible. There were talks originally of maybe filming parts of Zach's journey and having it on a TV in the background. But we're like, let's try and keep it special. Like, it works with just Broden sitting there on stage. Maybe there's something in there, something to that. And Netflix was so like, we never got any notes about the length of the sketch or they really trusted us and backed us on the writing. Their one sort of thing was, we could probably cut to Mark a few more times just for a few extra gags. And I think it really works out. I think it is my favorite. The way this sketch is constructed and put together, when I saw it for the first time, I was like, this is one of the best things we've ever done.
It's one of those things as well, like, I think sometimes you think, when you make a film version of something, you've got to show everything. The film version, the non-theatrical version, is showing everything. But actually, there's something very filmic about just lots and lots of angles, lots of music, lots of camera. You can make one person saying things cinematic, I think.
My partner says to me that I never shut up about this. This is like, and like people, like, I love this so. I love running off. I love running out of the house so much. I know it's not like game changing, but I just love it so much. Also, a comedian I spoke to today, I think he said the same to you.
Yeah, he said it to me, yeah.
Said, why would you shoot this section where you go, why would you shoot this in a second empty lot? That doesn't really make sense. And then he's like, but then I kind of saw, you can see one of the shots, you look outside and it's pissing rain. Exactly right. This whole thing is supposed to be outside. In California, literally, I lived there for maybe I lived there for 6 straight months, and I reckon it rained 10 days.
Outdoors day, one of the few days we ever needed to shoot outdoors.
We were pretty lucky, but this was the one day, and you see.
And then normally you'd reschedule, but then there's so many guest stars in this sequence that you couldn't reschedule.
No, it just wasn't possible. And thank goodness, like, we were shooting so tight. We ended up shooting on the last day before people go on holidays for Christmas. So we shot up until the 20th of December. And had it rained on one of our location days, which were the last 5 days of us shooting, it potentially could have fucked the entire production.
Can I just also do a shout out to Becca on the hair person again? Because if you thought getting my hair under the blonde wig was hard, getting my hair under that bald cap is
how they did it.
And not only that, she used very, very, very minimal hair product because it had to look normal in the next sketch. I think she just used water and pins.
That's incredible.
Very impressive and just very uncomfortable.
I've been pushing hard I've been pushing for 5 years or so to try and put Abraham Lincoln into something. Yeah. I don't know why. I just always really wanted it. And,
do you know as well, my favorite layer of that, right, was Bro was pushing to get Abraham Lincoln in. And I think was quite tired. I think you were quite tired for that fight. You were really at the end of giving any more. And then the casting agent was like, I know this guy. I think Robert Bromsky. And he's like, you might know him. He was in an iconic episode of Twin Peaks: The Return. And just in that moment, if you have watched Twin Peaks: The Return, which is probably none of you, not many people watched it, you'll know he was the God of Light guy. And I love Twin Peaks. I love David Lynch. And when I heard that he was up for the part, I think Broden like gave me a little nod, like, it's yours now, take this. And then it was like, I'm going to do everything to get the God of Light guy into our show. And I just fought Broden's fight for him from that point on.
He just tours around to schools and does Abraham Lincoln.
I also want to mention, I love that ending. It's an ending that when I've shown this to people, a lot of people haven't clicked. I don't know, maybe it's too subtle, but Sarah coming out at the end and clapping after we've killed her and it's a billion years later is one of my favorite jokes in the series. I love it so much. And then the ending of everyone being thanked and not Ed, that is the brilliance of Zach improvising on the spot. I can't remember what the actual ending that we wrote was, but as soon as that came up in the edit, it was like, oh, fucking hell. That's just such a perfect ending to the episode.
I also just want to say, I love it too. There's nothing I love more than deliberately inconsistent timelines.
Yeah,
and this episode is just my favorite for it. We set up that the year is 1592, I believe. Then we say a billion years later. Then we show that she's dead. We show that she died. So for all up, we've gone, it's a billion years later, present day from 1592. That doesn't work. We've shown dead, and we've shown her skeleton all through it. And then she comes back and congratulates us. And exactly like you said, no one ever picks up on it, but that is the funniest thing. It doesn't work. And so many people, it's a big thing that people love to do, is to try to make things work.
Yeah.
And there's just no way you can make that work.
No, there's not.
Pieces you can put together to make that work. And I love it. I love it so much. It's my favorite gag. You're absolutely right, Mark. That's probably my favorite gag as well. Whenever I watch it with people, I'm like, she's dead.
I know. I'm always expecting a big laugh. I'm like waiting for like a huge laugh, and everyone's just like, oh, it was her. She's put them up to it. Or something. It's like, no.
Yeah. I know Sam loves it too. Sam's huge on it. He loves it every time. And do you know what it is as well? People love things coming to it, like ending nicely. People love happy endings. And this ending makes no sense, but it feels like we did it.
Yeah.
It feels like it feels
earned.
An accomplishment. But nothing makes any sense. But it's like
there's something so wonderful about how satisfying it is to show how that skeleton that you've seen in the episode before got there. You're like, see? And it seems so clever, and it all comes together.
Yeah.
But then that skeleton is her, but she's also still alive, and it doesn't work. We're doing so much good stuff, and it doesn't work, and I love it.
When we were writing the series, we were very, very conscious about how we were breaking the form and how we would introduce breaking the form to the audience. So in episode 1, as I said in the episode 1 commentary, it's sort of like your benchmark episode. You know, you've got your narrative, you've got your sketches, you've got your narrative, and it all sort of comes together. This was originally episode 3 because we literally go backstage and you see behind, and we were so worried when we decided to shift the episode order, because episode 2 was originally dating, but was a little bit fucking weird for episode 2, as it turned out. That would throw people, but I think it was Scott Aukerman who was like, nah, that doesn't matter. You guys will be fine.
People have been like, he was like, people have been breaking the form for like 10 years, man. You're good.
Yeah. And then it worked out, and I don't think it's been too much of an issue, which has been great. But yeah.
Thank you so much for joining us. If you liked our live commentary of episodes 1 and 2, we've got a very special announcement. Same time tomorrow, we'll be doing a live commentary of episodes 3 and 4. What are episodes 3 and 4? I can't remember, Broden and Mark.
3 and 4 to do tomorrow.
What's this?
Why 3 and 4 tomorrow?
Well, Broden, because we've done 1 and 2, and I thought it made some sense to go chronologically. But I'm happy to have a conversation with you after the live stream where we can discuss the benefits of 3 and 4.
Well, okay, so a little bit of tension in the group here, but a couple of people.
I just think 4 then 3 could be good.
That would be
make a lot of sense to me.
Yeah. Thank you so much, everyone, for joining in and watching us and checking us out for this Auntie Donna watch party. We'll be back again tomorrow night. 2 more episodes. Hope you've all had a wonderful time hanging out with us. These will be available afterwards on other things. We're going to break up the episodes and
play it through again tomorrow.
Just please keep playing the show. Please, for the love of God, keep watching the show.
Yeah, we're going to be talking over it. So if you haven't seen 3 and 4, do watch it before we talk over it and ruin all the jokes.
Thank you so much, everyone. Good night.